Hi, my name is Dick Adams. This video discusses domestic variation. Why is it some animals have become domesticated and others have not? And what has driven this variation between wild and domestic? There are two major conditions driving the difference. One is natural selection, the other is artificial selection. First, natural selection. This takes place in the wild and is controlled by nature and what traits that are passed on to encourage an advantage for survival. An example of this is, take these two wolf packs I have represented here by red and brown jelly bellies. If a wolf from each pack mate, they will produce pups that are red, brown, and red and brown, all carrying genetic traits from the parents. The traits in one pup may or may not have an advantage over the trait in another pup. Now pups from this litter mate, and as it turns out, there are more red and brown pups than red pups. There starts to be a genetic advantage for brown and red-brown wolves over plain red wolves. Over the generation, the red wolves completely disappear. That is natural selection, randomly selecting traits that are passed along through the generations determine what is deemed an advantage for survival. Now, domestication is a process that is totally unnatural. It is dominated by mankind, and mankind determines what is to be selected and what characteristics we want carried on to the next generation. Initially, animals of domestication tend to be herd animals, have a dominant individual in the group, and breed with whomever. And many, but not all, are herbivores. When man began to settle rather than be nomadic, it was reasoned that in the case of the dogs, wolves began to hang around and pick up on the scraps. It is believed that amongst the wolves, one showed less fear and inclination for tameness. Take this wolf pack that is in the woods. Man then exploited these virtues to his advantage. Notice that this wolf pack is red and brown, yet one wolf does not demonstrate fear and shows tameness. That's the blue wolf. Our man decides he likes the idea of the wolf hanging around. He provides an alarm when danger approaches, so he captures the blue wolf and a partner and breeds them. Their litter has both blue and brown pups, with all the blue pups showing tameness and only half the browns indicating tameness. The other two run off. Our man doesn't like this, so he dispatches the brown pups and breeds the two blue pups. The next litter is mostly blue, but still has a brown one. But they're all tame and show a little fear of man. Continuing this process of artificially deciding who breeds, man has determined the outcome he is looking for. This is artificial selection, determining the outcome by selecting the breeding pairs. Darwin did feel that the consequences of artificial selection are similar in spirit to those of natural selection. Natural selection and artificial selection, brought to you by Jelly Bellies.